Mark Zuckerberg is reportedly hunting for a home in Washington, D.C. to be even closer to the commander in chief and his inner circle. Let's get into this. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is on the hunt for a home in the capital city, the Financial Times reported, citing people familiar with the matter. Those people said he wants to be closer to the Trump administration as it decides how to deal with the technology sector. Relationships are complicated. President Donald Trump once threatened to jail Mark for life if he interfered with the latest presidential election. Separately, the Meta founder and chief executive made the call to lock Trump's accounts in the aftermath of the January 6th riot. But things have changed, especially since Trump's victory. The two had dinner together at Mar-a-Lago the night before Thanksgiving. Meta donated $1 million for the president's inauguration, and Zuckerberg had a prime spot for it seated behind the Trump family and next to other technology billionaires as Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. He even co hosted an inauguration reception with Republican billionaires ahead of the two inaugural balls. And now Zuckerberg is reportedly on the hunt for a home in the capital city to get even closer to Trump. Two people familiar with the matter told the Financial Times that Zuckerberg is looking to buy a property in Washington, D.C. to be closer to the Trump administration in an effort to influence its approach to the technology sector, particularly where regulations is concerned. One person told the Financial Times he has found a potential place. Meta did not immediately respond to Fortune's request for comment. This comes a week after Trump announced a $500 billion Stargate project to boost artificial intelligence infrastructure in the country. OpenAI and SoftBank are lead partners. Meta is very focused on IA. It's recently announced that it would increase its annual spending to $65 billion, a lot of which would go towards expanding data centers that are needed to power its AI products. Since election night, Zuckerberg has pivoted to gear up for the Trump 2.0 administration. He announced Facebook and Instagram would, like Musk's X, ditch fact checking and rely on community notes. Meta elected Dana White, a longtime friend of Trump, to its board. Meta named Joel Kaplan, a prominent Republican, as its new chief global affairs officer. And Zuckerberg appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast and discussed the need for masculine energy in the corporate world. But Zuckerberg isn't the only one flocking to the Capitol. Wealthy Trump appointees who need or want to be near Trump have either purchased homes or are on the hunt too. Cantor Fitzgerald chief executive Howard Lutnick, whom Trump tapped to be Commerce Secretary, purchased a $25 million home, the Wall Street Journal reported. Hedge fund manager Scott Bessent, who was confirmed as Treasury Secretary, is looking for a home. People familiar told the Journal, plus investor John Beefan, Trump's choice for Navy Secretary is looking also. So the money is moving to D.C. Well, that surely is going to increase the price on things for us, from housing to food to transportation to you name it. Everything's going up. So it's very important that we stay on top of what's happening so that we can pivot and readjust our budgets, readjust our lives as needed. This is the Awareness District IMT short. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, turn on your notifications, and I'll see you next time.
You may hate President Trump or love him, but he has changed the financial world forever. Forevermore. Whether you're from Cambodia, England, Netherlands, wherever the hell you're from, he has changed the market forever, ever. They announced a couple of days ago the numbers for unemployment, et cetera, in the United States. 50, 60-year records. And how have you benefited from the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of mankind so far? How have you benefited? Not a fucking at all. Right, Doc? For those of you that have higher education, you're going to fail. For those of you that are Asian, you're going to fail. For those of you that are devout religious, anything, you're going to fail. And I'll explain to you in the next few days why. If love and religion got the job, none of you motherfuckers would be here. Who are the most religious people on the planet? The poorest. And why are they the most religious? Because they have no fucking hope. But they're smart enough to understand it. You dipshits aren't. Oh, thank you. And for those of you that don't drink, Allah be with you. But if you get through this fucking program without drinking, you're more man than I am. And I realize some of you don't drink for religious reasons. What kind of fucking religion is that? And some of you don't drink for medical reasons. Off YouTube, I'll tell you what I think about that too. And I've met with a few of you, unfortunately. And it's already come up, am I happy? If you came here because you thought you were going to get happy, you came to the wrong place. You wasted money.
Chicago, January 16. Don't move. DEA. Show me your hands. Slow, slow. The barking commands and grenade-like explosions jolted Marlon from his slumber. He was disoriented and fuming. The glare of the large military-style flashlights crisscrossed the room. All were aimed squarely at him and balanced above the barrels of assault weapons. He always slept with his gun under his pillow, so he instinctively reached for it. The AR-15 muzzle to his jaw quickly contradicted the logic of his instincts. "Give me a reason, asshole," the DEA agent seethed. His aura emanated intense adrenaline. Marlon could smell the stench. The agent snatched Marlon out of bed while his cohort tossed his pillow and grabbed a gun, while yet another one turned on his bedroom light. Marlon wore only a pair of navy blue polo boxers while being slammed face first into the wall and cuffed. "You're making a big fucking mistake," Marlon gritted. "Shut your mouth." "What the fuck is going on?" "I said shut up." "I'll tell you what's going on," a high-ranking agent of the DEA said as he stepped into the room. He held up his gloved hands, and in them were two packages about the size and thickness of a Webster's dictionary, wrapped in plastic and duct tape. "Fresh-cut heroin, straight from Mexico," he smirked and mockingly sniffed one of the packages. "I can still smell the wetback. Found it in the couch cushions." "Heroin," Marlon echoed. "No fucking way. This is a setup." "Marlon Porter, you're under arrest for—" "This is a mistake. I'm a federal agent." His accuser wore a menacing smile and responded with a gloating tone. "I know. That's the best part." By the time they reached the MCC federal holding facility at the intersection of Clark and Van Buren Streets, Marlon was enraged. He didn't know what was going on and intended on quickly getting some answers. His perp walk upon entering the facility with his hands cuffed behind his back and a DEA agent at each elbow was embarrassing, to say the least. The first set of eyes he met were those of the special agent in charge, Philip Ortega. Everything about Ortega screamed FBI, from his inexpensive navy blue suit all the way down to his spit-shine floor sheens. He gave Marlon a penetrating gaze and approached him with his trademark military gait. Ortega crisscrossed the room and accosted the DEA agent in charge. "What the hell is going on, Frank? You go after one of mine and I gotta find out through a goddamn back channel?" Ortega was furious. Frank gave him a shrug and a smirk. "What can I say, Ortega? Your guy stepped in it big time. A reliable source says your guy's dirty, and we hit pay dirt. We found 3 kilos of heroin and $70,000. Ortega hit Marlon with the harsh look of anger and betrayal that made it difficult for Marlon to hold his gaze. Marlon fought the wave of guilt in his heart and stood steadfast. "Mr. Ortega, this is bullshit. It's gotta be a plant. It's all bullshit." Ortega turned back to Frank without responding to Marlon. "Let me talk to him." "Philip, he's in custody. You have—" "Frank!" Ortega sharply barked. Frank visibly jumped while several people looked in their direction. Frank sighed. There was a natural rivalry between the DEA and the FBI. It wasn't as intense as the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry, but it definitely didn't pull on the DEA's heartstrings to see the feds with egg on their face. Still, Frank knew Ortega was taking it hard. A dirty agent was bad enough, but a dirty agent on your own watch was a hard pill to swallow. He eventually relented. 10 minutes, Philip, Frank replied. He flashed 5 fingers twice to emphasize his point. Ortega took Marlon by the arm and guided him into the first available office he found. He shut the door, then turned to Marlon. "You son of a bitch," Ortega hissed. "How long has this been going on?" "Sir, you telling me you believe this bullshit?"